when we talk to companies about their go-to-market strategy and we talk to them about their growth plans, that usually customer success isn't on the board of things that are talked about until we bring it up. One of those things is companies have this alignment on the growth trajectory of their company, and it's very much focused on acquisition and more customers. Many of them are in SaaS or that type of thing. There's a lot that have a CS department that's a pretty considerable size within their organization. And interestingly enough, CS never seems to have a seat at the table for growth in the overall go-to-market. One of the things we do when we're doing our RevOps workshop is we interview the CS teams to try and understand where they have things. The reality is they are usually hanging out off to this adjacent planet, if you will, in the solar system of your company. What we want to do is bring that together, and there's significant opportunity and upside on this. The upside is that when you start to bring CS into things, you actually get a more adequate and correct picture about who your customers are. It can help you define your ideal client profiles and even answer questions pre-sales that would make life easier as things progress and move forward. It also is a sentiment that when we do our interviews, either officially or unofficially, the CS individual team members have a general sentiment of the fact that they just have to deal with whatever sales gives them. And while that can be fair in a lot of organizations, that sales is just pounding the pavement and bringing in deals at the cost of whatever the experience would be, we want to, as our magic wand meaning the company, we want to make it so that focus is uniquely focused on the customer and the need for them not to feel like they're getting a handoff between marketing and sales. And so what that means is we've got to make sure that we start with the customer. We should have been doing that from the get when you talk sales and marketing. But when we started the customer and we make sure that we have the right information necessary, how do we make sure that experience is positive? Guess what? It's your CS team. Now, let's peel back a couple layers of the onion. So you got your customers, there's different types of services they have. There's lots of outside influences. In some cases, if you're a service company, it's going to be that your client has a day job, but at the same time, they have an initiative. And it's our job as CS to guide them, putting out our hand to guide them to take the next step. And we got to make sure that experience is a performance, but a performance in regards to entertainment, right? If they didn't pay us for the thing, would they want to pay us for the experience? That is what we need to work on. So when we think about the synergy that's necessary there, a lot of it starts with information. A lot of it starts with context. Now, if you're in service, you're going to need a lot more information on the customer. And a lot of times that comes from sales, and there might be some discovery and things that need to happen. But if you're selling a SaaS product or a product itself, that information is really just going to be doubling down on making sure that your customer knows where they are in the process overall. All of that helpfulness in your company is usually in the heads of your CS team. We have to find a way to get that information out of their brains and into some kind of knowledge base, especially as we start to consider how you can leverage AI to enhance your customer success, but also to enable your CS teams to focus on the relationship rather than the admin. So we typically do this in a couple ways. One, you could hire an outside firm like ours, Impulse Creative. We can come in and do this RevOps workshop with your CS team. We can ask them the questions and do some due diligence on your products, and then ultimately interview your CS team. If you want to handle this yourself, that's where sticky notes and a weekly stand-up meeting on a Friday can come in handy. What we'd recommend, if you're going to go that route, is have your next meeting with your CS team, ask everyone to buy a stack of sticky notes. And that sticky notes I want on their desk. And if a client asks a question and it's something that feels meaningful and you can define what that threshold is, have them write it down on the sticky note. They don't need to do anything other than writing down the question and sticking it to their monitor or putting it off to the side. When you have your CS stand-ups, you can have a quick half-hour, 45-minute meeting, bonus points if you record the call. You can have each of your CS teams go through the top questions they wrote down on their sticky notes that week. That exercise can allow for you to, that's your boots on the ground, questions that your customers are asking type questions. And you can get them to, during that call, Level one would be get them to give you the question and deal with the answer at another time. Level two, which would be better, is get them to raise what the actual resolved answer would be. And level three would be getting them to also kind of classify and paint the picture of who the customer was. Now, that level three is like, a magic wand moment for me. But if you have that information available and you're collecting it in that recorded call, you can convert that entire session each week into a frequently asked question document. That frequently asked question document can become a resource, not just for your CS team, which is super bonus up because they don't typically have it, but you can also turn that resource document into a resource for your website and your customer service reps. By doing that, you can lower your initial tickets and questions you might be getting, and you can make things more accessible. This is where a really exciting new feature that HubSpot's launching is their customer agent in Service Hub. If you have Service Hub, you can create a knowledge base and put those frequently asked questions there. If you have that knowledge base and then enable this customer agent, what the customer agent is going to do is it is going to record the questions that people are asking, which basically just adds another employee for you and lets you collect that information. But it's also going to begin giving that information to your customers. So what you're going to do is you're going to allow for a better and more responsive experience for your customers. And it's going to give your CS team the time to create more value and a better experience. You're going to see this momentum in your organization where you could expand that entire process from the bottom of the funnel with real helpful information. Then you can start to walk that experience further up the funnel into the folks that are pre-sales, hire if it fits your business. So that exercise that we just went through for CS, you could be doing that same thing based on the recordings that you have from your sales team. You could be doing that same thing based on the information that's available right now in your current knowledge base documents. And the goal is to bring all of that together and make this data repository of meaningful and accurate information, not a knowledge base that you created in 1992, and bring it all together in a spot that not only is actionable for your team to support their customers, but it's also actionable for whatever technologies you decide to use in your business to help serve your customers. So let me know your thoughts. Do you think that exercise would be helpful? The folks at Impulse Creative are waiting to help you out with setting up Customer Agent and the rest of the features and functions in HubSpot that can help you serve your customers better. Have a great day.